Hello, hello. Just finishing getting set up. Um, I need to. Why does my phone always want to tell me all of these things? I could do with less of the telling of the things. That would be good with me. I would like that. Less of the telling of the things. All right. Um, Today is day 8 of this painting challenge. And I have a lot of dog hair on my paper, which is called Just Another Day. And I am on just to do day 8. And then I need to go. I was streaming this morning with my friend and then streaming this, and that's a lot of camera time, and I would like some not camera time. Plus I have to get my kids soon at 4 o'clock, and it's 2. So since I have a piece cardboard that is the same size as my paper, I am taping it so that I have the frame that I want, the white space around the painting, and then also simultaneously taping it to the board. So less tape, always a good thing, and it's pretty secure. My palette is clean, and only because I had so many colors on there before and they started to mix together, that I just made this cute little thing. My son wanted his name on it, so this will hang in his room or something. He is kind of adorable that way. So, oh, and then also I painted a tiny little painting. How cute is that? It's just a little, tiny little frame. And I was like, oh, I wonder if watercolor will sit on there. And it does. So now I have a nice little cute painting. Let me see. I need to get you guys up over here so that I can manage the stuff if stuff happens. And I need to put this up here so if there's any chatting, I can see it. And it's not helping, not agreeing. It doesn't want me to, what's that? Oh, I just got gifted a subscription to Geninator. How awesome is that? Oh, it says just now, but it was in the last 24 hours. Thank you, Monolith. I'm going to have to find out how I can send you a private thank you. But hooray. Okay. I am, yes. All right, that's there. You're over here in case anyone decides to chat. Nobody likes to chat. And that's okay. You don't have to chat. Sometimes it just gets a little trying to think of things to say. I need to move my mic back. I'm sorry if that makes too much noise because I can't see my paint colors. So I think we're probably going to stay with all the same brushes. I'm going to leave those there. I just came in just to do day 8 of the painting challenge and follow that tutorial. It's called Tropical Sunset, Watercolor Tropical Sunset, day 8, which technically was yesterday in the challenge, but today's challenge won't come for like another hour. And by that time, like, I don't have time. So I'm always a day behind. And more dog hair. I'm going to take my sweater off to maybe prevent that. But I had to take my dog to the vet for a checkup, just a regular basic checkup today, and it's springtime and she's shedding. So there's literally hair everywhere. And also she's usually under my desk. So this is one of the hairiest rooms in the house. But, okay. So that's there. Let me stop that and move that over, and then move, what do I need? I need you over here. And I think I turned the volume down. I don't know if I have it on. If you hear something on my phone, sorry. I think I remembered to turn it off, but all right, let me just see where she's going. Okay, she's starting with yellow ochre, and I don't have that, but I'll find something else to use instead. It's a sunset, so I'll probably put a little mix of a couple of different colors. And now she's added lemon yellow to that. So I'll see what color she ends up with, and then kind of mix my own for that. Oh, and now she's going for water. So I'll pause her there and just make sure this is nice and even. I think there's more at the top than the bottom, but that's okay. All right. So now she kind of ended up, it looks kind of tan to me. So this is a sunset. I'm gonna kind of ad hoc my my color choice here. I am going to take a little bit of New Gamboge and add some water to that. And then I think afterwards I will add some either Aussie Red Gold or Quinn Deep Gold into it, just to get a little variation. Mine is going to look much more yellow than hers. Hers is very, very muted, and I just don't have the same colors. So, plus if it's a sunset, like, you know. So that's about where she stops. And then let me, I think I'm going to go with the Aussie Red Gold and just add that in and make it a little bit more orangey and add a lot more water to kind of thin it out and just add some variation. And I'm not sure that I want even variation, so okay, this part I'm just going off on my own. So I just don't want a line there, and I do want I don't want it really even. So, and then she comes in with Prussian blue, which is right here, and I'm going to put it, nope, that's indigo. Okay, maybe we'll use that later. Hosting and streaming, use Stream Machine. I know, right? I opened up with I'm not going to be here. It's going to be really quick. I'm just doing this and I'm going because I've had a lot of camera time per se today. And I want some non-camera time. So, but maybe Spawn 2 can watch and see. That'd be something for her to do. All right. Oh, and okay. She added some Prussian blue here. And then I've noticed that I'm a bit dry. So I'm going to very quickly kind of go in with some clean water, and I'm going to also go in with some clean water here, but I'm not touching the colors, or I'm trying not to touch the colors, because she then mixes some of her Prussian blue to get like a nice purple, and I can just use the clean water here to kind of spread this out and re-weaken and then move it down. I should really play the video and see what she does. Okay, Quinn Rose I have, and then I'm going to I'm going to put the violet here because this is what she does, but she doesn't touch the colors because purple and yellow, you know. So she uses a clean brush and then just widens this there. So I'm going to just let that fade out a little bit and not mix too much. And then I'll come back down here with my Prussian blue. Okay. And now she comes in and she creates a big hole here, which would have been good to know earlier. That would have been better to know before. So probably just to give like a sunset kind of a appearance or something. I'm not sure. And I just dropped some water here, so I'm going to spread that out a bit. And I just dropped more water here, so I'm going to spread that out a bit. And come back in with clean water up here and just make this a little bit more faint. Move the paint around. Spawn2 is here and watching. Hello, Spawn2. I hope you like this scene. I think it'll be a nice one. It's like a tropical sunset type. So I'm not hating that. Oh, I dropped even more water. If Spawn2 was not watching, I would be swearing. Not that that's a problem for Spawn2 actually, but okay. I'm going to go back in with just a little bit more Prussian blue, so these can dance and have fun babies together. I'm not sure that I really like this shelf. I do like that it's a shelf, but not as strong. So I'm going to move. Oh, Jesus. What is up with me today? I'm trying to hurry. That's why. All right. I need to just calm down. I'll get it done in 2 hours. So just relax and have fun with the process. So I'm just moving this color at the top around to kind of make it more natural. And I'm going to use some clean water here because I can see the purple is coming up and it's drying, and I don't really want, they can't have babies. They should not have babies. Like that. Ish. I will add just a tad bit of color here. All right, and now she dries, so I'm going to dry before I mess it up any other way. Okay. If Spawn 2 has questions, she can ask too. She should be doing this challenge also. This would be like a really good thing for her to just practice and play with. I mean, it's not like it costs anything, and she has watercolors. She should do this too. But let's see what happens after she dries. Okay, looks like she's going to do some dry brushing lines, which, as we learned, I will do my own version. Get some more blue. I don't know how dark she's going. Oh, she's not actually going that dark at all. So let me add some water. All right. I'm letting her go on so I know what she's doing for this step. And I'm going to just test out this color. Yeah. She does go darker. Okay. But it looks like she is staying just over here for water. Oh, because we'll have a beach here. And down in the front, it seems. Okay, I'm just gonna move along. So, she is getting some color, but then she wants to end in a dry brush pattern. So I'm just going to tap my brush and get off a decent amount and then start to paint. And then by the time I get over here, it'll be very light and kind of scratchy, not a very solid line. And I'll just alternate. And she goes about halfway-ish in. So, and she also does it in both colors on kind of the top and the bottom there. I probably should have used a bigger brush for this. But it'll just take a little bit longer, that's all. I'm trying to have a good mix of like solid lines and also that dry brush texture. Both up here and down there. So now it's very dry brush like here, so, and it's a different tone of this blue. So I'm trying to put it all over the place. And I can come up a little bit here too. And she saves till about here-ish. So I'm going to do the same. And that's very dry, completely dry brush. If I go over, apparently there's going to be some like beach or something on this side, so I'm not too worried. But I would like more dry brush in various places than solid lines. Like that. And then I'll come back in with this purple and do the same. And I will probably just blend a little bit between them, but I will mostly stay above. And at some point after she's done with this, she determines where she wants her horizon and then draws that line. So maybe I should do that part first. So I think I'm going to go just a little bit under this color change here and just go across. So that'll be the horizon, and then everything in between here is water. It's kind of counterintuitive to add paint to your brush just to take it off. But, yeah, c'est la vie. You get that dry brush texture faster. So it's just like a skipping line kind of thing. And then it looks like she's added more like lines up here. Maybe I should play the video. Okay. I don't know. She calls this horizon, and this is where the sky meets the water. But she has like water lines up there, and I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna take some clean water and kind of blend out this line so it's not as sharp. Just the bottom. Hopefully I'm going to blend out this line. I should have probably really thought about doing that when it was wet, but I didn't have that I hadn't watched that far in the video. So I guess this is kind of going backwards, but not as far backwards as I usually tell myself not to go. So maybe I am learning. I doubt I ever will, but I'm not going to worry so much about this side because it's going to be covered up with additional painting, and you right here are being a pain in the butt. And also you are over here. And then also one of the things that I could do is just grab a tiny bit of paint and add some underneath. So it kind of goes down. So I think I'm going to try and go a little tiny bit darker in some areas on the blue, just to add variation, make it look more natural. Pop a little bit up here so they blend together. And I can dry brush some down here. So it adds the color, but like not a strong line. Like that. And hers is a lot darker than mine, but I think I'm going to stay with that. So I'm just going to quickly dry this so we can wet it again and do more stuff. Okay. What's next? Let's see. Still here. Did you go somewhere? All right. Wait, I missed that. What colors is she using? Now she's going into the island. Raw sienna. All right, I need to see what colors we're talking about here because I'm a little lost. I don't have yellow ochre and okay. So where is yellow ochre? Yellow ochre, a raw sienna. Okay. So I can fake it till I make it a bit. I have some transparent brown oxide, which is down. Oh, that's red. This one. So I could add a little bit of this with maybe some buff titanium, or I could just use buff titanium and then, yeah, no, I could just make a little mix of that for that color. Okay. I love that color. Love that color chart. So that's what I will do. Switch brushes, clean water, and I could actually add just a bit in here. Let me soften that a bit with the buff titanium, which is kind of like a very light, kind of creamy tan color. And soften that a little bit. It's still very yellowy. So to get a little bit of the yellow out, I'll throw in a little bit of purple. And if you don't know why that works, you need to take a little bit of a color theory course. I can recommend. I have always been here. You're always there with me. I love it. And then to deepen it, I'll add in some of this transparent brown oxide. And hers seems not as dull, so maybe I went a little crazy with a buff titanium. So I think I'll see what she does, and then maybe I'll just add a little bit more brown in later. Oh, she adds more brown in later. Okay, and then she dries. So let me start with that. Oh, before I do that, I should probably wet the paper because she wets just this bottom part here. Actually, I want to put that underneath. And she just goes down from the horizon. And it will soften and kind of reactivate some of those blue watermarks, but not enough that I care. So it did take away some of the color, or move it around a little bit. Because watercolor, if anything, is always inconsistent. It does what it wants. It's kind of like having a kid. All right, so she comes all the way down here, and this is going to be like the beginning of the beach. And then she comes up here as well, and over. And these are mixing more than I would like. So I think I'm going to go in a little bit earlier with the dark brown and kind of add it in certain places. And I don't want this to be like just one solid thing of color, so I'll add that in there. And let's see what she does here. I think I'm going to actually take some straight brown oxide and see. Let's just see. That's actually pretty good. I'm not going to go too high. She keeps down and low. And just going to drop in pieces, color, and then move it around. And one of the things that she does is really, she doesn't keep a shelf, but she makes sure that this kind of like fades. And I think it's actually doing that pretty well on its own. So yeah. Oh no, she dried it. Okay, so she just adds varying degrees of color. I'm going to add, since this one kind of sticks out, I'm going to add some there. I'm going to pop some color in here. I want it to be uneven, but not just a line. And then some clean water, but not soaking wet, just so I can move it around and kind of blend it. And just pull a little bit of that color back so I don't lose this like soft kind of beachy color. Blend this better and back. And then I think leave it like that. Not exactly leave it like that, just kind of leave it like that. I'm just dropping in just to get variation. I do want it darker on the bottom. So smoothing it out. And this is just clean water, so Now a fairly dry brush to, and I think I just took away everything I just added, so let's try again. And let me just blend out with clean water earlier. And there's a big difference between color here and there. So I'm just going to move it around a bit. Kind of scoop that back a little. Like so. I'm going to give this a second just so where it is wet, the color can just move and mingle. Starting to, it's wet here and dry here, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna get a shelf of drying, so I'm just gonna wet everything there. Blend it a bit. That'll work, right? That looks good. Okay, dry. All right, and now what does she do next? Okay, so now she just kind of dirties this up a bit more, and she uses wet paint on dry, and she seems to add different colors, so I'm going to add different degrees of different tones of the same color. Trying to make sure that I dry my brush off so I don't drop more water on. And she's not really very exact with any of this. She's just kind of adding texture, and so I'm going to do the same thing. And just going to soften as I go along if I can. She doesn't go too far out. And this is with this color here, so and now I'll come in with a little bit of water and the darker. That really wasn't that dark at all, was it? That one's dark. Okay. That's too much, but I'll soften it out Just grab a little bit of water and dry off my brush and move it around and get rid of those sharp lines. So it blends better, it blends out. And this is a really dry brush. There's like barely anything on it. And I'm just slowly pulling whatever color is wet out. Okay. I think I want to add a little bit down here because I didn't really do much. I think I want to go darker. Didn't really do much down here, so it would be good for a little bit of variation. I'm just going to dry off my brush a little bit more and then try and stretch out what I've put down and make it softer. Like that. Okay. Now she's going in with white. I'm silent because I'm listening. Okay. Okay. So now she's taking this whole area here and she's taking the white gouache and she's making foam. So she doesn't go all the way up. She just stays more kind of in this area and just randomly placing, and then she goes backwards too. Not backwards, but then she goes back and kind of softens out some of what she's put down. So I've reactivated my gouache and she goes a lot more crazy, I guess, than I do. And I'm just going to follow what she's doing. I've never been completely happy with how my froth, like what is that called with the, you know, the water and the white part of the water, probably has a name, but whatever this stuff is that shows the water moving. It probably has a name. Wish I could think. Jeez. And then she comes along here at the bottom, but not the whole way, and need to make sure I make it very uneven and kind of chaotic. And since this would be a shore type situation, it would be more solid. With little dots. And I'm gonna kind of fade that out a bit and have a lot more focused around here and around here. And then she goes in the water and adds more. And I might come back after and just use my white gel pen because I get much better results with that than I do with the gouache. But then she just adds some nice little wave details out here in the water, just sporadically and small. I'm not going to go too crazy. Just a nice little section. I do want to be able to see it though, and don't think I'm really using enough. I think it's just drying so softly. So I'm probably going to come in with my white gel pen after and kind of deepen up some of this. But in the meantime, she then takes her brush and kind of softens out a bit of it. To me, you can't barely even see that there's anything there. So this is why I don't, when I want a solid, nice, dark white, I don't use gouache. I use the gel pen because I just get better results that way. Maybe not everyone has the gel pen. Maybe she's, I don't know, maybe it's a teaching thing. But I'll do what she's doing and then I'll fix it on my own. She has so much here. And I feel like it just gets lost. So I'm going to wait for that to dry and then again I'll hit it with my gel pen. This is kind of good that it's drying transparent-ish because then you can have different values of white. I'm trying to just show there's like little dots of froth, or what is that word? Whatever that word is. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I've done some blending, but it's still really, really light. And I can go back and add better details later. So let's see what is next. Foam. It's called foam. Ugh. Foam. Now we're adding rocks. Okay. Okay. And she takes some of the brown, and I'm going to use this bottom part here, and mixes it with Payne's Gray, and I'm going to use indigo, even though I have the Payne's Gray over there. I'm just going to use what I have. So I'm going to try not to drip water over my painting. It's a fairly light value that she uses, kind of with transparent type of look, and she is just going back over some of these things and creating a rock, or like a rocky area. So I want to make sure that I come underneath and can fill this in. It's a good thing I spent so much time detailing that. And then she comes over here and she builds out, but she also adds various amounts in here and down here. Although if it's rocky, it's more, won't always be sharp. And then she comes up and comes into the ocean. So she has a big rock that kind of starts here and then comes over. There's a section that comes over here and another section that comes even further. And I'm just gonna kind of make a messy rock shape, and it comes out into the ocean a bit and then forms this kind of like rocky shore kind of thing down over and back here. And I'll go back and refine some of the shapes because I'm not 100% thrilled. I'll throw in a little bit more brown to get a little bit more pigment in there. Even if it doesn't match exactly, rocks are, notoriously even. So I have room to play. I'm just going to blend in since these are two different colors. I know we're going to change the value, but yeah. I don't know how much on the beach here is covered, so I'm kind of going to go soft and I'll grab a little bit more indigo so I can at least make a shadow there, it seems. And I'm going to stop there. It's very rock shape, right? This could be a little more natural, just different shapes. But I also don't want to take away from the foam that's there. So like that. I'll just give it a nice little wash. So there's a rock. And now she comes in. I have to go backwards a little bit. Trees. I don't know what color she uses. Where are the colors? She uses hooker's green. I don't know why it's called hooker's green, but it is. Okay. And she'll probably deepen that up a little bit more. So I'm just making sure my brush is loaded with lots of paint. And then it kind of meets around this rock, so I'm going to go backwards a bit and just make a kind of tree-shaped area. And then fill it in. But I'm just going to meet, hopefully not cover. Although I can probably fix anything that I make a mistake on later. I imagine that we're going to add a lot of varying colors for depth and to show distance, all of that fun stuff. Sammy, what are you doing? So that's that. And now all right. She is just adding in a lot of like various shapes to add shadows in here and there. And I'm gonna try not to overthink this. Not my strong suit. And then just add in some color and variation. And this is kind of like, this is also why this type of challenge is good for me, because I don't really do well with messy, and she does a lot of messy, so yeah. And I'm going to just, let's see, kind of differentiate it around here, so I'm just going to kind of follow that shape and give shadow there, and then just be messy in the rest. And she also has another rock around here, so I'm gonna be a little messy, not at the top obviously, but that's like very smooth. I don't like that. So we're gonna make it a little bit bigger and give it more craziness. And she goes messy really everywhere. So I'm gonna stick with it and just try and be messy. And I really want there still to be difference between these two rocks. So I'm going to leave that, and she does not do this, but I'm going to. I'm going to just take a slightly damp brush and just smooth it out a little bit. Just a little, so I'm still messy. All right. Okay, now she goes in with the smaller brush and she goes wet on dry. And I was just taking off some of that color because I thought it was too black and I wanted more variation. So I'm going to take my smaller brush and I'm going to just add in more detail and at a much smaller kind of in a less is more kind of way. I don't want everything to always be lines, so want some curves in there too. Let's change it up. Go stay with that shape just because I can. All right. I'm not 100% convinced, but I'm going to stay there. I'm going to add little things of shadow here, just all over in all of these areas. I probably should have came back in with this, with that mix. So I actually could just take a little bit of water and mix it with that brown and do that now. Just to add another color in there. That doesn't really do too much, but okay. And then I'll come back in with that after. Actually, I might add some in here too to deepen this up and take away some of the green. How am I doing for time? Oh, I have 50 minutes, so I think we're okay. And over here it's going to bleed a bit, and that's fine. Just some variation. So that's good. I'm just trying to change the shape so not everything is just a straight line. And then we come over to the big ones, and she goes fairly sparse. And so hooray for me. Although I do still want to keep this kind of rock formation type thing. So if there was a shadow there, it would do something like that. And then I'll just sporadically add, and hopefully it won't look too uniform. Down here I don't really have a choice because this is like kind of land in the water, but some sections will be really big, some smaller. What do we think? Is it looking rock-like? I'm hesitant to do any more than that. So I think I'll move on. So this is where that shadow would be, and then there would be other little pieces. I want to keep these light parts that I have, and so they can pop through, and this would be pretty much all dark here. Connect those and kind of connect the bottom here. And then various shadows. And I think like this would be like more heavily shadowed. So yeah, I probably went too much there, but dry my brush and take off a bit. I really want to smooth these out. I don't like the lines. There should be some, but maybe just not as much. A little bit of blending never hurt, right? So that would be like a rock there too. And this is a fairly dry brush, so I'm just kind of lightly blurring that line, just making me happier. And this one is not going to be dry. I don't like the shapes that they turn into, so. Okay, I'm going to stop overthinking. Now she comes back in with the gouache, and I'm debating whether or not I should even bother. I think I can just take some gouache and kind of she kind of blends it out, so I can use the gouache around here, and then and I think I'll make some dots. And I'll go back in later with some, with the gel pen. All right, hold on, because I missed the whole green thing here. Sorry. All right. So then she just comes back in and adds some contrast here. So I'm gonna use the same color green, just in a highly pigmented form, so it's much darker. It's not really darker, it's just more color, I guess would be the better way. And then what she does after is deepens it up by adding some of this into that. So a little bit of water will be good. So it will move a little bit, and then she just makes random kind of tree shapes in here. And it would be darker at the bottom here. You wouldn't be able to see much. I'm trying to just follow so that the trees are directly behind the rocks. There wouldn't be much light, so there wouldn't be many spaces, at least along the bottom. Sorry, I don't know if you can even hear when I cough, or if my microphone blocks it. It would be nice if it blocked it. I can imagine that it would block the heat gun and then still let those things through. So I'm just changing the shape a bit and just plopping down color in a very wild and crazy guy way. I'm gonna let some of that, I'm gonna even out this line of color down here and just let some of that lighter valued green poke through. Like that. And then I'm going to take just this and mix a bit in here. So it's a much darker color. Maybe a little bit darker. And then she just sporadically comes in. This might be too wet. I may need it more pigmented. I don't want to lose the green though, so that's now like a really dark green. And I'm gonna come in and add some shadows, just sporadic and not very, more kind of center based, and then fading out, and also some towards the bottom, because there wouldn't be too much, right? But I don't want to lose that green. I don't want it to be completely in shadow. So maybe something like that. And maybe I'll just soften some of these areas a little bit, so they're not as line-like, more integrated like with the other trees. Okay, I'm not going to overthink that, and I'm going to leave that as it is. And now we are going to draw okay. Now she takes a brown, and I'm going to use just my small brush to mix this. And she kind of adds some black to it, or some Payne's gray. I'm actually going to mix a little bit of this in there. So that's like a really deep brown now. And she just draws little palm trees. So I've never painted a palm tree. Apparently they're quite pointy. And she draws them at different angles. So there's a much smaller one over here-ish. Distance. And then the main one is coming up out like this. And this is pointy as well. So apparently that's how you draw or paint a palm tree base. Okay. Looks like she uses hunter green for the leaves, so I'm gonna get some up here pure. Oh, too much talking today. Too much talking. Add some water into it. Maybe drink some water myself. And now she makes oof. This has to be allergies. Now she takes this green and makes just kind of star-shaped tree frond type things. And she goes just more kind of in a 5 kind of petal type way, but she started out trying to be more realistic, and then she stopped. So she's got a little bit of half and half there. But I think as long as I kind of stay with the idea of palm trees, I think we'll be okay. That kind of looks like a palm tree, right? Having never seen one before in my life. I'm sorry, in person. Having never seen one in person in my life. And then, so there would be one here. And another one here. So what I'm trying to do is kind of stay with the shape of what the leaves would look like, but also turn them a bit and then add a little bit of chaos. And that one is much longer than any of the other ones, but I'm not going to care. Then there would be another one this way. And I'm just adding just kind of some loose crazy ones. So it's not so precise, right? And then down here, These will kind of get in the way, but that's okay. Gonna still make them smaller because they're further away. And I think actually that's good, just like that. Maybe a little crazy one there. These are going to be kind of, they're in the way, so I'm not going to worry so much there. There we go. Maybe another crazy one there. And now what does she do? Now she adds contrast. So we're going to go back to this color with some water. Okay, I think I want a little bit more green, so I think I'll add some up here. I don't really want it too black, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to add too much. Just so there's some difference in color, and it looks like a shadow. This one would probably have more because it's away from the light, if the light is there. And this one would have more on this side than the front, right? But then this one on the back here would have more. And then same over here, but a little less paint. And does that look like a palm tree? Kind of does, right? Ish. All right. And then she adds contrast to okay. All right. So she goes darker even in the leaves, and she also goes darker in the palm trees. The one thing that I don't understand is why she goes darker in the front here, but I'm not really sure it matters. But I can't let that just be a line. I have to blend that together. I don't care that it's dark, but I don't want it stark. So I think I'll go with my gut on that too, and the placement of the shadows on this one. And if there really was a shadow, it would be more on this side, away from the light source. So I kind of wish I could come back in and do this one, but I think if I go backwards here, like I'm gonna try anyway, I think I'm just gonna make it worse. No, it worked for one time. One time. One time only. Yes. All right, so then what I will do is just take a little bit of this dark green and then come on the other side of that and add contrast that way. But I might have to just add a little bit of this brown. Maybe this brown. Let's see. Because it looks like a weird color now, and I want it to be brown again. And then just blend that line. Probably spent way too much time on that, but I don't care. And then she deepens up the leaves one more time. And I'm just going to use this. And I'm going to use very light touch. I want contrast, but I don't want it to take over. So and I think that's enough. And this color. I think that looks good. Trying to get like nice thin strokes. So yeah, I like that. Decent-ish. What's next? She's done. She's done. So I'm done. So now I just want to come in with my super white awesome gel pen and add in some more highlights to this foam. And I'm just being messy, just kind of scribbling and then adding some dots. But if there is going to be foam hitting this area, you should be able to see it. I'm trying not to go too crazy. But I also want it to be noticeable. And I think you can see that better now. I'm just going to sporadically go over all of these places and add various shapes and because this will add highlight. I mean I can see a big difference. I don't know if you can, but just squiggles and dots. And some of them can be muted from the gouache, and some of it can be bright white from the gel pen. And stay bright white. So There will always be more seafoam, like right where the kind of line of water meeting shore is. So Simi, what are you doing? I gave her a bone, and when I came home, I found that she had buried the bone in my son's bed. So, hooray. And I think she's just gone and done it again. It's a good way to lose the bone. I'm being too meticulous, so I need to be more messy and chaotic. And little bits here. And then chaos dots. So do the same here as well. Kind of fade them in and out. And the gouache from before is still there, so you'll have varying levels of white. So it's not like this white just kind of popped in and took over the ocean or whatever. I think I will actually bring this further, because this would be, I think I'll put some dots further up here. Probably overthinking it. It's a talent of mine. So, like so. That rock looks really dark, but I'm going to keep it. Is what it is. All done now, anyway. And one of the things that I don't like is how, like, the sand is uneven, but if this was my painting, and it is, I would come in with some darker browns and give it a little bit more life. Because when have you ever seen sand not have pebbles or stone in it? And I would do this actually with more than one color, which I'm considering. And there's no reason why there couldn't be bigger or smaller stones, right? Have you ever seen like just one stone? Kind of rare. So I'm going to just bring the sand to life a little bit better. So that was with like a darker brown, and I could take some more of this brown. This need water. There we go. And vary the size, color, and shape of interest. Just gonna add stuff around, right? And this is where I am not a good loose watercolor painter. Trying to get like details like this in, because in loose painting you don't have to worry so much about this stuff. But we all have our downfalls, things to work on. But I think that's just a little bit more interesting, right? I'm not telling you that's a rock, but maybe you could guess that's a rock with some shadow behind it. All right, and that is it for me. That is it for this. Oh, nope. Best part, taking off the tape. Just want to make sure no color would run when I did this. What do you think? Does anyone ever paint along? Does anyone ever do the tutorial while I'm doing it? That would be kind of cool. If you ever do that, tag me on Instagram and post a picture. Because I would really love to see that. All right. Lots of tape. And there we go. So, let me get some paper and we'll do Loved and Learned because it's part of the class. Or, not class, what is this? Challenge. All right. Loved. Learned. I love the purple to blue transition. So purple in the water. I like that color choice and I'm gonna steal that for the future. I actually really love the palm trees. They were kind of intimidating when I saw the picture, but they actually ended up coming out not so bad. What else did I love? I do love the variation, the colors in the sand. I think for someone who did not have the same colors that she was using, I got a pretty realistic and somewhat similar match and variation. I actually like my variation more than hers, but shh, don't tell anyone. And is there anything else of? Nah, everything else is pretty basic. What have I learned? I learned that I overthink rocks. The funny thing is too, is like if this was a marker, I could do this so much better. And I just am having a hard time taking all of my marker knowledge and or coloring knowledge with pencils and markers and bringing it over into watercolor. Um, I think I have an easier time being like precisely messy with the other mediums, but I don't know. So what do I need? I need to learn to I need to learn to be a little looser and stop overthinking. So I'm going to write that, and I'm probably going to write that for the rest of my life because it is one of my superpowers. So I don't really expect that to change, but it's another realization that came today. And what else did I learn? That I don't like watercoloring rocks like this. This looks horrifically messy, and all I can see are the lines, and it doesn't really look like rocks to me. But I don't know. I need to be controlled messy. Maybe I just need to learn to be messy. maybe messier. Yeah, I think everything else goes with overthinking. Oh, but I did love also white gel pen for the win. Keep that there. I think that really added a lot to it. And I think you can see the foam and get a better impression of the water moving in with it. So I think I can still follow along and use gouache when she does, but knowing that I, for my own taste, need to go back and add a brighter, more contrasting white so it stands out. And yeah, I think that's it. Well, what did I learn? How to paint a palm tree. Here we go. What is this? Tropical Sunset. And there we have it. So I'll leave you with that. And maybe I'll just put this one over here too because it's kind of cute. Now it's like really super cute. I just love this little painting. And I'm going to say goodbye. So I will be back tomorrow. I need a calendar. Or, yeah, calendar. Do I have something tomorrow? Do I have anything tomorrow? Yes, I do. Right. Yes. Hold on. This is, if you watch regularly, this will impact you. So tomorrow afternoon, I have a meeting at 2:30, and I'm pretty sure that, let me look at the schedule that I have posted. Where is it? Isn't there like a schedule? I wanted to go back to my channel. Can I do that? Apparently not. Okay. Well, I can't look at that. I think it says tomorrow that my stream is going to start at like 1 or something. And that's not going to happen. So I'm going to tell you now that I'm going to change it to 11, and let me write myself a note so I remember to change it to 11, because yep, I just need paper. Why would a card maker ever be short of paper? But okay, so change stream to 11. So 11, 12, 12, 1, 2. Yeah, that should be good. Yeah, so tomorrow, 11 a.m. instead of 1. I'll change that on the schedule as soon as I get off. And I hope you enjoyed my version of this Tropical Sunset Challenge. I would definitely recommend that you go and watch her videos or see her paintings, and you'll see how ours differ in some ways more than others. And yeah, that's it for me. Take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.